Hello and welcome back. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to take a title block that you may have made or you have from somewhere that you pulled over and make it as either one of your standard templates, or you can replace the standard one that Inventor has. Now, whenever you open up Inventor, that title block that I created on the previous video, and just in case if you haven't seen that one, I just created a real simple B-size title block. So I'll show you how I have that, or how I have it set up in my system, and I'll show you how to do that. But if I go and I check my new templates, and underneath my templates where I have my English US, you can see that highlighted here is that template or that title block that I created for you. And I'll show you also how to, if you don't want to have an extra icon here, I'll show you how you can actually replace this one and have your title block on the inside of the standard one. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is locate where our template files in Inventor are located. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'll select the file icon and then I'll select options. Once you select options, you're going to get a dialog box. Click on the file tab, and that's where you're going to come up and see everywhere that Inventor looks for certain things. The one that we're most interested in is going to be the default templates location. Now, you can try to copy and paste this into a window explorer, and you can see that I have those % symbols in there, so it doesn't quite translate exactly how you want it. So you can select this drop down here, and you can follow along where that location is. So you can see that this is underneath the public, and I should be on the public documents, Autodesk. Then you go down a little bit further, I have Inventor 2021. And then you're going to have a folder called Templates. So just opening up your Windows Explorer, you can see that I did that. I went to the C drive, underneath User, Public, Public Documents, Autodesk, Inventor 2020, Templates, and this is that English US. Now that title block that we copied and we created and saved, this is all I did was copy and paste it into this location. Once you copy and paste it into this location, you're going to have to close down Inventor, and when you reopen it, it will be in that location of where I showed you. Meaning that if I close this, and this as well, you will also see it underneath when you select the new, and it'll be underneath the template icon. So once you've done that, you will have that located here. Next, I'll show you the other way of doing that if you want it to be stored or saved as the exact same thing here. So what you're going to do first is go ahead and open up that IDW file that we created. And it's the exact same thing if I went up to open and I selected that IDW file. Remember that in our title blocks, or in our title block, we put some prompt entries in. That's what you're seeing appear here in this dialog box. Okay, so once that happened, your title block or your drawing will open. So from here you have two choices. You can leave it set this way, and your template, anytime you go to the standard, it's going to come up and it's going to appear that way. Or what I like to do is I'll go ahead and delete both of these. So I'm just going to delete my title block and my border that's going around it. It still should be located underneath our drafting resources, underneath title block. You can see the title is the title block that I created, and that border, which is B size, is there. Underneath sheet 1, the default template is set up to be a D size. So go ahead and go to edit sheet, select the drop down, go to D, and OK. From here, what I'll do is I'll insert in the default border. That's going to put the default one in, and then I'll put in the ANSI A-size border. You can use either one of these that you want, but this is just going to be your template. So this is by default, anytime you open up that standard template one, this is what you're going to see. And I'll open up the standard one right now before I replace it, just to make sure that it is the exact same thing. So if I go to File, and then if I go to, go to New, and then I go to Drawing, And what I want to do is find that standard one, which is here. And I'll give it a second to load up. And you can see that this has came in, and the difference I have for mine is that I have a ANSI large. So I'll go back in mine and change it to an ANSI large. So this is just the standard template. I'm going to go ahead and close this one. And then this is going to bring me back to the one that I was working on before. So let's go ahead and right click on this. Make sure that you're underneath sheet 1. Right click. Go ahead and delete that one. And then double click on the ANSI large. So now I have the ANSI large. It's a D size, and I have my standard border that's going around it. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the file, and I'm going to use save as, and then you're going to say copy it as a template. What this is going to do is going to open up that template folder for you, and here you can see where I move my B size drawing at. But if I want it to be the new standard, all I have to do is select here and select save. It's going to ask me, do I want to replace that? Yes. I know it's not in my active project folder. It's a template, and that's fine. So now when I go ahead and close this drawing, and no, I do not want to save drawing, so I'm just going to answer no to that. I'll come back to new, and now if I use the standard IDW template, and I'll go back later and you can go ahead and delete that one if you want, if you don't want it to appear here, but it's underneath my standard, and then I select create. And it's going to open up with all of my default stuff in. Underneath the drafting resources, underneath title block, you'll see that I do have my title that I created. And you can also see my B size border that goes around it. So I hope this was kind of helpful to you. And remember that this is just for a standalone setup. If you do have a network setup, what I would recommend that you do is that this location, or wherever it's located, make it on somewhere on your network so someone have access to it, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna point everyone to that location. So that's only for a network setup. But if you have a standalone setup, it's fine the way that I showed you, and everything should work fine. And now you should have that title block as part of your standard. So either way is fine with me, or whichever method that you prefer. But I know some people like to have it, a lot less templates in here. So you can either have added in one way, or you can have it as part of your standard. Okay, so I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.